Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble. Acta non verba is the motto of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York. I had appointments to Naval Academy and Kings Point Merchant Marine Academy. And Merchant Marine Academy's motto was acta non verba. In other words, don't listen to what a person says. Watch what they do. Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learn from you. So congratulations.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown probably 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrive Time, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement, how to help you guys implement the SEO. And the coaching is just great because there's accountability, and it's just a fantastic way to grow your company. Having a relationship with Thrive Time it's just been amazing for MultiClean. Oh my goodness, it frees me up because then I don't have to take a class on search engine optimization or learn marketing or shoot video. That's not what we do. What we do is commercial janitorial service. And you guys are the experts on marketing, and you teach me and hold my hand and show me how to do it right. And therefore, now my company is much, much larger.
Folks, on today's show, we're joined by a real client. He may look like a male model. He may look like a hologram, but he's a real person. He's a longtime client. He's a man that we consider to be a friend of the Thrive Time Show and a friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Kevin. Welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Clay, I'm doing great. Had a great Christmas holiday, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so first question, can you tell us what is your name, first and last name, and what's the name of your company, sir?
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas.
And how long have we worked with you approximately at this point, sir?
It's been about 6-7 years.
And we want to welcome all of His Glory Nation from east to west to north to south. Welcome to Kingdom Business Builder with America's building king, Clay Clark. We're going to have Clay come on with Kingdom Business Builder in just a second. First, off the top, Kingdom Collagen, part of the Kingdom's line. Get your Kingdom Collagen. You can use this as for your coffee with all the stuff that's terrible in coffee creamer. Use the collagen to work with Kingdom Cup. Great mixture to put together. Fairly Prepared Patriot. Dr. Stella was on last week talking about the variants going around. I take ivermectin on a daily basis. You can get hydroxychloroquine, Fenben, ivermectin without prescription, 40% off. Get that today. Chronology, buy one, get one free. This is my go-to every night to sleep. Absolutely amazing stuff. They have a BOGO. Buy one, get the second one free and free shipping. All right, America Family Music coming up this week. Lara Logan will be here. She'll be our MC. Chad Prather, comedy and music. Bo Pony, lots of music. Boa Tribe, Ashley, Steve Hill Band, and Johnny Guandolo, and the G-Men will be here. Also, if you can't make it, we're going to be streaming it. Tickets $9.99. Would love to see you face to face. Friday night during rehearsal, we're going to have a tribute to the January Sixers. We're going to give them a Texas barbecue. So if you want to help us with that, you can. There's a QR code that you can put up there. There it is. And also, we're going to give them a gift on Saturday. So join us. This will be the largest gathering of January Sixers together to date. And we just want to say thank you for standing up for this country and making America great again. All right. That is it. It's time for Clay Clark. Clay, welcome back.
Dave, thank you for allowing me to be here with you today. I'm very excited. And for everybody watching this show, this segment is specifically about trying to help everybody watching today's show financially increase their earning capacity. And rumor has it you can exchange your added income for, goods and services. So if you're watching today's show and you're saying, hey, Trump's back in office, there's a lot of stuff going on geopolitically, but what can I do to sow more seed into the kingdom to make a bigger impact? One thing you can do is you can build a business. And so today, on today's show, Dave, I'm going to teach 6 pro tips that every single person watching today's show can apply. And I want to start with you on this, Dave. The Bible says, if you open your Bible, folks, to Proverbs 22:29, it says, seest thou a diligent man in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before men of low estate. What that means is that you will stand out in this world of perpetual chaos if you're just a consistent, diligent, hardworking person. Now, Dave, you came from corporate America. How rare is it to find somebody that is diligent, hardworking, someone not trying to work an angle to take advantage of people? I mean, how rare is that in corporate America? And I'm not trying to get you to attack your former employees or anything. I'm just saying, I mean, you rose to a high level in corporate America. Is it common, or what's your thoughts on that?
Well, there's so much lack of integrity we see in corporate America that they try to get the quick buck. And trying to get the quick buck is never sustainable. You've got to build that faith. You got to build that trust. And those who do it the right way, and you can trust that that's how you build a business. You don't just go in for the one-time deal and out. And AT&T has a lot to learn with that still today.
I'll say this too, with the Reawaken tour, which His Glory was such a big part, you guys were hosting all the baptisms, and it really it was transformative for a lot of people. But the events, people say, Clay, those events were great. Thank you for teaming up with His Glory and other ministries to do it. And I'll tell you, folks, I mean, it cost a lot of money to put on those events. And that's why, after 4 years of doing those events, they lost millions of dollars. And you say, well, how did you afford to do it? Well, I was able to do it because I built other successful companies, and they offset the losses that the Reawaken tour generated. And I'm just sharing that with you as an example, because if you're watching today and you want to share the gospel, or you want to host a conference series, or you want to reawaken America, or whatever it is you want to do, it costs money to do that. And so I was able to use the profits from our companies to be able to subsidize the losses of the Reawaken America tour, because that event, those events were not sustainable. So if you're watching today's show, these are pro tips you can apply. Now, step number 1, again, you want to be a diligent person. What does it mean to be diligent? It just means that you want to be the kind of person that people can count on. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to be without blemish. But the idea is that people should know that on average, when in doubt, they're not going to doubt you. People can trust you to do what you say you're going to do. Now, step number 2, you want to, if you're watching today's show and you say, I want to become an entrepreneur, but I'm not one yet. Or if you say, I am an entrepreneur and I want to make more, this is what you do. Get out a sheet of paper today and write down all of the problems that you can solve. So as an example, one of my clients, I'm going to cue up a video right now so you can see this is a real person. His name is Thomas. He just got married this past weekend. He was born close to yesterday. This guy is not yet 30 years old. Look at this success story here. He has an automotive detailing company. Let me see if I can get this. We had the computers restart here in our office today, Dave, so I might have to restart this clip. I'll come back to it in just a second. But Thomas is a guy that he said, you know what I can do? I can detail cars. That's what I can do. I can detail cars. So he made a list of problems he can solve. One of the problems he can solve is he can detail cars. I have another client, Dave, one of your longtime listeners, by the way, who I met years ago in Florida. And they said, you know what? I have a lawnmower Thus, I can mow lawns. So if you're watching today's show, you want to make a list of the problems that you can solve. And Dave, I don't think a lot of times when we think about entrepreneurship and growing our income and growing our net worth, I don't think a lot of people think about, hey, what are problems that I can solve in exchange for the compensation that I seek? I think a lot of people think, well, what can the world do for me? Or how can the world pay me? I don't think a lot of times people think about, well, what problems can I solve for the world? So step number one, you want to be thinking about what kind of problems can you solve for the world? Let me pull up this clip here. But Dave, I want to get your thoughts on that. Even as an employee, why is it that it's so rare that people think in terms of what problems can I solve as opposed to how can my boss pay me more? If you're an employee watching today's show, you want to think, what more problems can I solve? What additional problems can I solve for my boss? Before you ask for the raise, you want to be thinking about what problems you solve, not how much more money you want to be paid. Why don't people think that way?
Well, I think, again, going in for the short-term gain instead of looking for building that trust. Anytime my boss, when I was in the corporate world, I'd go into his office and there was a problem. I didn't come up there and say, boss, we have a problem. How are we going to fix it? I had A, B, C. This is ways we can fix it. And that's how you build trust throughout an organization. It's so important.
So I'm going to play this clip. I think the clip's cooperating now. Dave, I appreciate your patience. I had to restart a lot of things today. So here we go. Let me pull this up here. This is Thomas Thill. And full disclosure, this guy he just married the daughter of the flyover conservatives. Okay. So this guy, Thomas Thill, just got married this weekend. Here we go. When we first started with you on a weekly basis, how many leads were you getting from Google and how many are you getting now?
I was at 0. Didn't even have a website. And last week we got 24, and yesterday alone I booked 4 jobs from Google, just yesterday alone.
How much has it helped you to just have a 3-legged marketing stool that you know is going to work?
It's like having a salesman that's working for me 24/7. It's amazing. Like getting these leads in from Google because of the work that we're putting in on the back end that's just it. It's like having a salesman that's working 24/7, getting phone calls.
Now, Dave, this guy's a Christian business owner, and he is a tither. He's a diligent doer. Let me pull up his website. It's called bespokerefinement.com. And this is his website. It's a real company. He's in the Kansas City area, and he has an auto detailing business. Now, again, full disclosure, he's been a client of ours. We've helped him grow dramatically. But, Dave, I think sometimes, I'm sure none of your listeners, but I think sometimes we are guilty of looking for the big win, looking for the billion-dollar product, and not looking for an actual problem we can actually solve for real people in our real life. And so I want to applaud Thomas for saying, hey, you know what? I might not be able to reinvent the internet, or I might not be able to have the next billion-dollar app. I might not be able to transform the world, but you know what I can do? I can detail cars. And for me, that's a powerful thing, Dave. And I think everybody watching today's show, and I'd love to get your reaction to this, Dave. I think everybody watching today's show can make a list of problems that we can solve for our ideal and likely buyers. I think everybody watching today's show has the mental capacity to solve problems for somebody.
Yeah, exactly. You know, detail. That was my job in high school. I worked for a Chrysler dealership. My girlfriend's dad owned the car dealership. And that's a unique niche that is so important because you can make a used car look new again by just having that extra touch on there. And not many people do that to perfection.
So again, step number one, you say, what am I supposed to do? Be diligent. What does diligent mean? It just means the Bible tells us in both Genesis and Exodus, God created the earth in 6 days and he rested on the 7th. Are you a 6th day person? You know, do you get to work early when possible, right? Is that your normal? Do you over deliver? Do you strive to exceed the expectations of your boss or of your customers? Step number 2, make a list of problems that you can solve for the marketplace. And I think somebody watching this show today, you're saying, you know what? I like this entrepreneurship thing, but I'm a little bit afraid of it, and I've never done it before, and I need someone to guide me down the path. And I'll pull up the website here real quick. We do workshops every 2 months, and there's no exaggeration. We have helped to produce multiple millionaires by going to thrivetimeshow.com. We've had multiple attendees that have come to our in-person workshops and discovered their new business idea, their new business plan. So if you're an entrepreneur and you have a real company, I would encourage you to come to our in-person workshops. Probably 80%, 90% of the attendees own an actual company. We have Tim Tebow joining us in June. We have Eric Trump joining us in September. So if you have an existing business, I would come to the conference. Also, if you're looking to start a business, you're looking for a new business idea, go to thrivetimeshow.com. As we head into the break here with 8 seconds left, I encourage everybody, go to thrivetimeshow.com to learn more. Once again, that's thrivetimeshow.com.
Boom.
Blessings to His Glory family. This is Mama His Glory. You know, I'm a senior, and when I first got Kingdom Fuel, I loved it. What I do every morning, I get a box of spinach, I get some blueberries, some bananas, a little bit of orange juice and water, and I put 2 scoops of Kingdom Fuel in that. I swear by this stuff. I have never felt better than using Kingdom Fuel.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to announce the next generation of energy drinks, Rev 7. It has no sugar and no caffeine. Instead, Rev 7 uses Go BHB. Go BHB is one of the body's primary ketones, and it provides the most efficient and clean fuel that your body needs. It also helps you stay energized all day with no crashes. Not only that, it produces 3 times more brain energy than sugar, which helps boost your memory, focus, and mental sharpness. It also helps reduce stress and helps balance your mood. Rev 7 does all that while being the best tasting energy drink ever. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% today. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7. For a limited time, you get our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. I drink Rev 7 every day, and I absolutely love it, and so will you.
All right, we're back with Clay Clark, Kingdom Business Builders.
All right, now, folks, we're talking about how you can increase your financial capacity. So somebody watching today's show, you're going, tell me the steps, tell me the tips. What can I do to increase my revenue? So step number 3, this is very important for everybody out there. Step number 3 is you want to make a list of problems that people are actually willing to pay you to solve. So I want to brag on a listener, by the way. There's a lady out there by the name of Terry, Terri. Dave, you probably ran into her, but she came up to me at the second Reawaken Tour event we had, and I'll be kind of vague about the situation, but she said, hey, I would like to make an impact to share the gospel and to help you guys with the Reawaken Tour, and I also don't really know how. So what can I do? And I said, well, most people that I know who are podcasters, broadcasters, personalities, they need someone to book them on shows. She says, well, how do I do that? I said, well, you want to be detailed, you want to be organized, you want to strive to be on time, and you want to reach out to people and you want to say, hey, His Glory, would you like to interview this person? Or, hey, this show, would you like to interview Dave? Or, hey, Clay, would you like to interview this person? Or, this show, would you like to interview Clay? So you're a connector. And she says, that's a job? I go, yeah, they call that a booker, and that's a real job. And I said, most people in that industry, they charge per month a flat rate, and you could charge per booking. And she said, why would I charge per booking? And I said, well, because everybody else charges flat rate, so you'd be the only one that charges per booking. You're basically paying for success. And she said, you know what? I will do that. Could you teach me how? I said, sure. So she came to a business workshop. We taught her how to do it. And Terry has worked for me as a vendor and for a lot of wonderful people in the I would say the Reawaken Tour group or the Project Save America group. A lot of the bigger names that you know now hire Terry. And what does she do? She's a booker. Did she know how to do that? No. How old was she when she discovered it? I think Terry, she looks like she's 22, but maybe she's over. Anyway, the point is, she was learning a new career and not in college. And I think a lot of times people think the time isn't right for me right now. I don't know. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm too whatever. So I want to share this video. This is Terry Wren. And for some of your listeners may be familiar with this story. Some of you might not. Her son, Justin Wren, was a MMA fighter. And she came to one of our workshops. And here's her story. Here we go. How long have you been doing sports photography / awards, that kind of thing?
25 years. So I went with Justin because at the time he was living in Oklahoma City, and he was a guest speaker at your conference, and I was with him, and that's when I met you and your team.
You were depressed because depressed, suicidal thoughts I had for like 10 years, just battled it from 13 years old, 23. And so that was a lot scarier to me than going.
Man, you had suicidal thoughts when you were 13.
Yeah, for sure. And I was one that, the kid in the class that, I wouldn't say I was, how do I say it? It was extremely brutal, but it was happening to, everyone gets bullied for the most part.
But yeah, just the energy and the business information that you give is great. I'll tell you that at the actual time that I started, I was your client and you started coaching me. I was going through a divorce after 32 years of being married. I was not.
Dave, this is a woman who came to a conference because her son was one of the speakers. She had just gone through a divorce after 3 decades, and she said, you know what? I'm going to diligently apply the things I'm learning. And she's built a multi-million-dollar company, very successful, and she sells trophies for kids' games. She sells plaques for kids' games, like Little League baseball trophies and that kind of thing. And so no matter where you're at today, and no matter what's going on in your life, I would argue that now is the best time to get started. Again, the time will never be just right. You must act now. So as we recap these moves, move number 1, be diligent. Move number 2, find a list of problems that you can solve. Move number 3, make a list of problems that you can solve that people are actually willing to pay for. And in the case of Terry Wren, she had, Dave, a business where she was selling photos. She was selling photographs to youth sports teams. And so we made a list of all the problems that she could solve for youth athletics. And on that list was trophies, and on that list was plaques, and on that list was posters. And now she has a multi-million-dollar company based in Dallas that doesn't just sell sports photography. Another example, a longtime client, PMHOKC.com. It's PMHOKC.com. This guy's grown his business by 18 times. Wow. And when I met him, he used to sell pergolas, fire pits, basically outdoor remodeling of some kind. And through this discussion we're having right now, he wrote on the list pools. He's like, I could build pools, a swimming pool. And guess what he does now? He builds swimming pools. And guess what his highest revenue producing activity is? Building swimming pools. Guess what he had never done before he came to a conference? Built a swimming pool. So I'm just telling you, folks, this system works, okay? So if you're watching today's show, be diligent. Step number 2, find a list of problems that you can solve. Step number 3, make a list of problems that people are willing to pay for. Don't confuse your passion as a product. A lot of times you have a product, you're excited, I'm excited. I love raising goats. It's not a product for me. I love silky chickens. It's not a product for me. There are things I'm into that don't translate into financial success. So find a list of problems that you can solve. Step number 4, you want to introduce first-class branding. A lot of people, they start a business and their website looks like it just started. They start a business and their business cards look rough. That's why for our business coaching, we do the photography, the video, the web, the search engine, the online ads, because you don't want to look new if you're new, because people will just reject the newness. And a lot of naive entrepreneurs go in there and they have a product they want to sell, and it's a good product, but the branding is bad. And we all do judge a book by its cover. So I encourage everybody out there, have first-class branding in place. That's step number 4. Step number 5, try to sell 10 somethings. I know that seems oversimplified. Just try to sell 10 somethings. I see people that say, I want to make $1 billion in the first quarter of 2026. And I go, that's great. Why don't you sell 10 somethings first? I see people that say, I want to take over the world, and I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to do this. I go, that's great. Why don't you sell 10 somethings first? And Dave, there's something about that when you started recording your broadcast with His Glory, it was probably challenging to put out those first 5 shows. Maybe it wasn't. But I mean, eventually when the idea comes right into your peripheral and you go, okay, I'm going to actually record this. Could you maybe explain what it was like when you first started recording broadcast number 1 or broadcast number 2?
First is, Lord, why am I doing this? And he said, because I told you to do it. And we started with just a stand. My wife was holding an iPad, and it wasn't pretty. It's still not pretty, but the Lord is guiding us every step of the way. But you have to start.
You get it. We had to start. The Reawaken Tour, you and I worked together on that back and forth all the time doing that event. And, I had never organized a mass baptism event. Never done it before. But we did it. I had never organized a mass candle lighting, which we did at the first event. But we did it. Now, I did find out from the church later they were not necessarily a big fan of the candle lighting, but we did it. Sometimes you have to ask for forgiveness. But again, we had never done an outdoor event for 8,000 people, but we did it. I had never had Eric Trump speak at our events, but we did it. Hopefully someone's getting this idea. I had never sold tickets where you could name your price to a health freedom Bible study conference, but we did it. I had never cold called Jim Brewer, the comedian, and asked him to come on our stage, but we did it. I'd never cold called Roseanne and asked her to come on the stage, but we did it. I'd never asked Dr. Zelenko, Dr. Rashid Buttar, doctors from all different faiths to share what was going on with COVID. but we did it. Why am I saying that? Because I think what happens is a lot of times we say, I just don't know where to start. And it becomes this phobia and this mental block. And we've got to take action. So you're watching today's show and you have an idea of something that you think may work. Go try and sell 10 somethings. And then the final step is once you can sell it, now you have to scale it. Okay. So once you nail it, now you have to scale it. You say, what does it mean to scale it? Now you need systems and checklists and org charts and job descriptions and a pro forma, and you need processes so that your business can scale. So you can do it over and over again consistently. But I think there's somebody watching today's show and you're stuck in one of those 6 areas. So I'm going to repeat it again. 1, you got to be diligent. There's somebody watching today's show and you go from 0 to fast. And that's your people know you as somebody who's excited, and then you're ghosted. You're fired up, and then you disappear. So we got to become consistent, and everybody out there can do that. Step number 2, you got to find a list of problems you can solve. Somebody out there is guilty of going to the marketplace and saying, pay me, pay me. You're going to the boss saying, pay me, pay me. But we got to find a list of problems we can solve. Step number 3, we got to make a list of problems we can solve that people are actually willing to pay us for. That's so important that we do that. Step number 4, you got to build first-class branding. Somebody's watching today's show and your website is messed up. Your photography doesn't make any sense. Your About Us page on your website is non-existent. When I go to the website right now, it does not work. Your phone number doesn't work. You need somebody to help you build the brand. That's what we do. Step number 5, you got to sell 10 somethings. Somebody out there, you've been thinking about writing that book for 10 years. You've been thinking about making that product for 10 consecutive years, but you got to go do it. And then finally, once we nail it, we've got to scale it. So I'm going to leave you with one final success story and a crazy call to action. So here we go. If you go up here to grillblazer.com, this is a story of a man by the name of Bob. Bob had terminal cancer, and Bob had never built a business before. But Dave, he invented this thing called the grill gun, which is like an affordable flamethrower for grilling. Yeah. And Bob reached out to me and he said, hey, my accountant recommended me to you. I've got a prototype. And we helped Bob, Dave, to sell millions and millions and millions of these. And by the grace of God, he beat cancer and he built a super successful company. But guess what? When he started building his company, all of his hair was white. He did not have a single hair on his head that wasn't white, but he did it. So if you're watching today's show and you say, what can I do with this information? 3 calls to action. 1, go to thrivetimeshow.com, and learn about our upcoming business conferences featuring Tim Tebow, the legendary football player, featuring Eric Trump. Eric Trump, that's President Trump's son. He'll be joining us. Tim Tebow will be joining us in June. Eric Trump will be joining us in September. And if you use promo code HISGLORY, you have a chance to win a backstage pass. So if you want a backstage pass, you want a chance to win a backstage pass, use promo code HISGLORY. If you want a discount off of tickets, use promo code HISGLORY. Also, we have scholarship tickets available to make it affordable for everybody. So, Dave, that's a lot of information. That's probably more knowledge than you got in business college packaged to you with 30 seconds still on the clock there, Dave. Back to you.
Yeah, you're right. More than you get in business college. AT&T needs to learn from that too, is take massive action. That's what Tony Robbins used to always say, take massive action. But Clay, you give a detailed way to execute, which most people don't. And I think that's what sets apart. You can have a great idea, but how do you execute that idea? And you're going to teach the people how to do that. That's brilliant. So sign up today, go to Thrive Time and get Kingdom Business Builders for you.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
4,000% from February to February. Now, I can better that. Okay, Clay, I don't think you know this. I don't think you know this. I'm pinching myself, and if I cry, forgive me. In the last 2.5 days, we have bettered our entire month of February in the last 2.5 days. So, and the phone's blowing up. Everything's just blowing up. You're right. It is like a rocket ship. So we're pinching ourselves, actually.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
But I recognized at the age of 15, I'm going, you know what? I am not going to live that way. And so I started a company out of my parents' basement called djconnection.com. And I decided I am going to have success. And so I reached out to millionaires and people that I kind of knew through church and friendships and people that parents of my friends. And I said, what book would you recommend that I read? I'm a 15-year-old asking this question. True story. And I kept being told, you got to read.
Hello, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Radio Show. It's an exciting time. Also, I think a treacherous time, a spooky time also. But it's always, danger is a good time. Today, my guest is Clay Clark, and I went out with Tom Wheelwright to visit Clay with Eric Trump also. And the reason I want to talk to Clay this morning is a very important subject called study. And the reason I say that is things are changing so fast, and many people are completely missing the show. Things are changing at rapid speed. Technology is changing. And so I went to Tulsa, again, with Tom Wheelwright and Eric Trump. And the thing I was so impressed about Clay is this word called study. I don't know, you guys must be in your water or something, Clay, but boy, I was so impressed how big you guys are. But what really impressed me was you have this huge congregation. They're all about guys your age. They're on fire. And you start your classes at 5 in the morning. Now, let me talk to you about study here. We show our books here. Now, this is how I study. This is the creature from Jekyll Island. It's on the Fed. And Clay's doing the same thing. We study. So I go out to Clay's place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's built this huge compound out there. And you guys start at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not by Zoom. They drive there. They show up 5 o'clock, bright-haired, bushy-tailed, and all this. And they're on fire. Your group is on fire. So that's what was on Clay, this technology. You tell your group I was so impressed because, like I said, study has become a bad word. I got into fights in my own company because our staff didn't want to study anymore. And I don't know how they cannot do that. So Clay, anyway, welcome to the Rich Dad Radio Show. That's what I want to talk to you about is how do you do it? 5 o'clock in the morning, you have hundreds of people showing up in your huge auditorium on your property to study. Anyway, welcome to the show, Clay, and what turns you on so much? That's what I want to know. Give us a little about your background.
Karime Schofield, and the name of our company is Whistle While You Clean.
I am Sophia Schofield.
We live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we service the tri-state, so Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana.
We were getting a phone call, and we were like, why is someone calling our business line? That's unusual, and we picked it up, and it was a lead.
I mean, it's been incredible, Clay. We've gone from 0 to 100% growth. We're like a full functioning company. It's great. We're blown away at how well we're doing. So working with you guys have really taught us a lot about generating leads and pursuing our Dream 100. So we have a list of customers that we want to market to. And so we've been making phone calls, we've been showing up in person. We're trying to get near the businesses that they would visit if they were visiting like a hair salon or something. And then we start calling them and we just start pursuing them. And then the other thing that we do is when we do cleans, we take a lot of video testimonials and we post those to our website so other customers can see. And then we also upload a lot of images of the things that we do. And so we're also asking our clients for Google reviews after we've cleaned their houses. And so it's this constant cycle of doing those things over and over and over again. I would say if you're on the fence, go to one of Clay's conferences. They are hilarious. They're fun. They're educational. They're so good that even my teenagers like them. And I would say don't let fear hold you back. If you want to start a business, do the obvious thing and hire someone who knows how to run businesses. If I wanted to get in shape, I'd hire a gym person, a personal trainer. This is like the personal training for business. It has been absolutely amazing. I mean, our coach is encouraging. When he first met with us, he said, do we want him to be like a drill sergeant with us? You know, what level of intensity do we want him to give us? And I will say he is incredibly encouraging all the time, and he just hits the same mark with us every single time. It's very repetitive, but I think we both really learn a lot every time we sit down and have a conversation with him over the phone. He keeps pushing us to go further, and he can recognize when we're afraid to do something, and he'll give us a little bit of grace, but that next week he's drilling us again, like pushing us to go harder. Our no-brainer offer is we are offering your first clean for $1. And that sounds absolutely insane. It even sounded insane when I was talking over it with our business coach. And I will tell you that that has generated some of our hugest clients. I mean, that has been like a game changer because it opened up the door to more clients, more recommendations, more leads. And we were surprised how far that dollar clean got us.
How important has it been for you to work out that scripting, even though you offer $1 for the first clean? How important has it been for you to nail that down?
It's been really important because it kind of it hones in so that you're not just all over the place when you're trying to explain what it is that you do. And a lot of times it's like you're a good person offering a good product and you have integrity and you want to communicate that. But when you go to communicate without a script or without practice, it's just like a mess coming out of your mouth, as opposed to having this, honed in practice where you know what you're going to say, you know how you're going to say it, and you can almost expect better results when you do it that way.
Had you ever been an entrepreneur before starting this particular business?
No, never.
Did you ever think about wanting to own your own business someday? Or what was the first time you thought, maybe I would like to open my own business?
Absolutely. I've probably been dreaming about it for about 10 years.
Okay, and let me go to your daughter here. Had you ever thought about wanting to team up and open your own business, or was that something that you were maybe excited about, or not so much?
Well, for me, my parents would always listen to your podcast and business podcast. And as I started listening to them, I started realizing that I wanted to own a business.
It's www.whistlewhileyouclean.com. Honestly, the hardest thing was getting over the fear. It was the fear of the unknown. There was like a cloud of doubt that, you can't do this, you're gonna fail. There was a few sleepless nights there when we did pull the trigger and join your team and start the coaching process. Even my husband put a little bit of pressure on me from time to time because it was just absolutely scary to take that jump and actually start a business.
Whoa.